Hi guys, welcome to class. Apologies for the delay. I'm slightly overrun in the last session, but I'm here now and we can get started. We're going to talk about business English, so it's going to be a business English session. We're going to talk about work and motivation. This class is interesting for those not just who need business English, but we're just going to talk about our attitudes to work in general. So if you're interested, you can join in. It's not anything specific as such. We're just going to talk about what we need to work. If we're mainly focused on money, or there are other factors, like, for example, our colleagues, our relationships with the people around us. So that's going to be the aim. Please join in if you can when you get the opportunity to. Okay, and we'll get this show on the road. Theoretically. Okay, so in the chat box already we have Diego, Ed Burton, Alejandro, and Carlos. Okay, and Alvaro. Good. Okay, so please join in when you get the opportunity to. Like I said, for those who've just started watching, we are talking about business English. We are talking about work and motivation. What you need to work effectively. How can we motivate you to work? Not so many people like to work. That's a common opinion. So how can we get the people, even who completely don't like to work, to want to get off their bums and work? Yeah, so is it about money? Is it about the office, for example, like the Google office? This is very famous for being very fun, like a play park, or what really motivates us? Or if these things are not necessary, we just need to just have a good work ethic by ourselves. Sebastian is also there. So please join in when you get the opportunity to, and we'll get started. Now I'm going silent in protest until people join me. And Sukaina is there. Cool. So guys, there are people watching. I know there are people watching. I can see. I know who you are. Okay, no, I don't really know who you are. That's private. Okay, so Sebastian, where are you from? I am from the UK. And you're going to be like, oh, I wanted an American. I know. I'm sorry for being British. And Diego says, I'm from Brazil. That's cool. And Giselle is there as well. Okay, so we'll see. People reserve this class. That's really strange. Let's have a look. Okay, I'll give it 2 minutes. And Samara is also there. Guys, you are watching. Please join in if you want. Yeah, we can't talk unless we have some participants. Good. Okay, Enrique's there.
Yeah.
Cool. How are you? You okay?
I'm fine.
Perfect. Cool. Good to speak with you, Enrique. We're talking about business English now, so it's a bit different from what we talked about in the previous session. Okay. So my first question for you is, what do you need at work? So what do you need to want to do a job well, to want to do a job effectively?
Stabilidad exists. This word.
Stability. Yeah. Stability. What do you mean by stability?
Stability is to not get fired.
Yeah, basically to not lose your job, right? So to stick with your job. So to be in a stable position, to want to not lose your job, to not be fired. And do you think there's such a thing as a stable job right now? So anywhere in the world, does anyone have a stable job?
I didn't understand.
Okay. Is there such a thing as a stable job? Does a stable job exist?
Yes, exist. In my culture, exist.
Okay, so what kind of jobs would you consider to be more stable than others?
In my culture, job that you work to the government.
So if you are a what we call a civil servant, okay?
Yeah,
So
but you have to pass in exam.
so it's quite
In an
difficult.
exam.
Is it competitive?
Yes, it's compact.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're saying competitive things like, for example, a government role to be a civil servant, you'd have to pass certain exams and get certain standards and things like this. Okay, but this, when you achieve this status as a civil servant, you'd say it's more stable. I'd say in the UK, maybe it was to be a civil servant to work for the government. It was stable. However, now the government are making a lot of cutbacks, so they're making lots of people redundant, just because there's no money to pay them. So that's was traditionally a stable job, but now it's not. Yeah, things are getting more efficient. Okay,
Yeah.
but Enrique, would you like to have a completely stable job? Would you like to be a civil servant, or what kind of position would you like to be in?
In civil, I would like to work like an engineer in in a in a factory maybe, or I like this. I don't like to work in civil, in government. How can I say it?
Yeah, you don't want to work for the government, so to work for someone is your government pays you the salary. So to work for the government would be to be paid by the government. The government employs you. Okay, so I
Yes.
don't want to work for the government.
Yes, because the salary is limited.
Yep. So there's a cap, or there's. I mean, maybe for example, if you work in the private sector, there's no limit to how much money you can get, right? So the only limit is how much people are prepared to pay for you. However, the government maybe have these kind of scales, salary scales, maybe. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're saying there's a limit to how much you can earn in the public sector. Do you know the difference between public sector and
I know.
private sector? You know the difference, right?
Private, yes, I know the difference.
Okay, so you would like to work in the private sector, not the public sector.
Yes, I would like to work in the private.
So can you compare both, the advantages and disadvantages of working in both? So first talk about the private sector, the advantages and disadvantages, then the public sector. Compare them, okay?
Okay. In my country, in the private sector is it is good now because the government is improve the industries.
Yeah.
So if you work in the industry, you will earn or earn more
To earn
money.
money, yeah.
To earn more money in if you work in a public sector, the unique advantage is the stability.
So you can say stability or job security. So there's higher job security in the public sector, but this is at the expense of good salaries, okay? So
Okay.
at the expense of means you can have this, but you can't have this. You can't have both. You can either have good salary, high salary, or job security. And you're saying they don't connect in any way. So expense of, right. So you decide to work for the government. You have two choices, government, private sector, and you think, right, I'm working for the public sector because I want stability. However, I don't care so much about the salary. I want a secure, stable job. So this is at the expense of higher salary. You can't have both. You work for the private sector, the market. You have a high salary, but this is at the expense of job security. Okay, you're
Okay.
saying. So, is it worth it to work for the private sector in Brazil? Is the extra salary worth the extra risk of losing your job? So, is it worth working in the private sector with the
The
salary
extra salary,
differences?
like if you work after your expedient, you earn double.
Okay,
Yes,
so
this,
the salary difference is so it's worth taking the risk, right? So it's worth
yeah.
taking the risk. The risk reward ratio is high. It's good. Okay, so that's good. But how motivated are you? Not about working in a particular company or working in the public sector or private sector, but to choose your job. So do you choose your job, your industry, deciding what to study, what to learn, or whatever, based on salary? So do you need a good remuneration package?
I would need a middle remuneration that I need to to pay my account and live without risks. Risk, yes, to cover my expense.
Or to cover my costs, you can say both. You need a
To live
salary which enables me. So
to live comfortably.
I need a salary to enable me to live comfortably, but I don't need an excessive salary. Okay, I don't.
Okay.
I don't need too much money. I need a comfortable salary. I need enough money to pay for my costs, but I don't need an excessive salary. Meaning I don't need too much. Yeah, you're not greedy. Okay, that's interesting. What
How
about?
is
Yeah,
the private sector in the UK?
I would say most people want to work for the private sector, especially in places like London, um, because the salaries are a lot higher and things like to be a politician um, is not so appealing for lots of people in the UK because compared with maybe private sector jobs, the salary is not so high. Yeah, for the same kind of position. So the same because I know in lots of countries to be a politician, they get the highest salaries. In the UK, I would say maybe not so. And people really generally want to work for the private sector in places like London, but of course it depends. Outside, maybe of course before to work as a civil servant to work in the public sector was more secure, but now it's the same. So you can lose your job. There's no kind of loyalty really. It's not like you work for the government, that means you've got a job for life, or you work for the private sector and you're not going to have a job. I would say it's basically quite equal. So the government have to try to compete with their salaries to offer good salaries, but a lot of people do it, maybe work for the government because they want to do it. Yeah, so if they want to be teachers or nurses or whatever. But yeah, I would say maybe the private sector is better, more lucrative, particularly in London. Um, yeah, to be like I don't know, the highest paid positions are things like to work in the banks, things like that, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. So are you interested to go to London or the UK? Or just curious?
I I would like to go to London, so it is interesting
You
for me.
can go, I think. For Brazilians, I think you can stay 6 months a year without a visa, I've heard. You're, is it true?
No, the sound doesn't come to me.
Oh, you can hear. I've heard that people from Brazil can stay in the UK for 6 months per year without a visa.
I don't know.
I've
I
heard,
think
yes. So,
that not the visa is difficult to get in Brazil. You have to take the IELTS and
okay, wait.
have the money in your account.
I've heard,
For
someone
example,
told me, yeah, go for it,
if
yeah. So,
I if I go to London and I got there for 1 year, I have to take to have in my account the money to get there for 1 year. If I
okay,
have I the how can I say it? The government of London in Brazil.
yeah. You can stay for 6 months, but I don't know about what you need to do to get this visa. But you listen, this is how strange it is. You can stay in You can stay. I think you can stay in the UK longer than Americans. I'm pretty sure you can stay in the UK longer than Americans can do without, or something like this. I've heard. So yeah, okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, wait. I'll just find out for you if you're interested.
Okay. It's you have to take some points. Like the IELTS have 30 points. You have the money in your account. You have more 60 points. You have to attach the quantity of points necessary.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so if you're visiting, once again, what passport do you hold? You hold a Brazilian. There's a question now. I'll just share my screen now so you can see this. Okay, but I'm just curious about this because it's quite interesting. Okay, so it says if you need a visa, you're coming to the UK maybe to visit. Okay, or is it to work? Did you want to come to work or something?
Yeah.
So to work or visit?
Oh, visit.
Visit. Okay.
To study. How is this? To study.
It's easy to get a study visa. You just need money. That's the problem. Because if you sign up, for example, with a language school, you pretty much guarantee you get a study visa. But the cost of the language schools in the UK is so expensive. I find in London, particularly, to study a language school is very expensive. I don't know how it compares with your country or whatever. Okay, but so say for example you're coming to study. What passport do you hold? Brazilian. Where do you currently live? Brazil, right?
Right.
You need a visa to come and study in the UK. But if you're coming for a short course and you don't want to work, then you don't need a visa. But if you get a study visa, I think you can work. I'm sure if you get a study visa, you can work maybe 20 hours per week in the UK. I have some friends who are international students, and it's so that they have a study visa so they can work for 20 hours and get money for this, of course, yeah, to help pay some of the costs. But usually that's, the payment they get is not high enough to cover their costs. But say, for example, you just want to visit, we'll just check this quickly. No, you don't need a visa to come to the UK for you. You can stay for up to 6 months, a year, as a Brazilian without a visa. And this is more, let's compare with Americans, because I'm sure it's better than for Americans, which is quite interesting. Because, yeah, once again, where do you live?
Argentina.
And I think it's because maybe our governments have some agreement. Okay, so, oh no, oh fine, Americans is the same, so 6 months. But I know that if I'm going to America, I can only stay there for 90 days, I think, for three months. So that's interesting, that's cool. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so that's about that. So you can come for 6 months without visa. If you want to study, you need a visa. So yeah, I don't know if that's an option for you. So cool. Okay, so linking back to what we're talking about. You're saying remuneration is important, but as long as it's comfortable. How would you like to be paid? Would you like to be paid with a salary, a fixed salary every month, a commission, or through bonuses? Okay, do you like the idea of being paid by commission?
The sound didn't came to me.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so commission. Do you know what commission is?
Yes, I know. Commission.
Would you like to take a job where you just get paid commission?
Yes, I would like.
Why?
Commissions is important because you receive according to you produce. Yeah.
Yeah, according to what you sell, you get paid.
Yeah. How call they work where people sell houses and receive according to...
Yeah, estate agents.
Estate agents.
So to be an estate agent is mainly on commission.
Yes.
So you'd like to do this?
Okay. I would like to do this in Brazil. It is good. Now it's good because the buildings, how can I say, construction industry. Yeah.
Yep.
Construction industry is improving.
Okay, so it's a boom. It's going in a boom. Yeah, so there's a boom.
Yes, yes.
Construction boom, things like this. I guess for Brazil it work. I've done it briefly. So when I first went to Germany, I worked for a company which did this sold property and stuff. And the commission can be good, but the problem is that if you don't sell for a month or something, you don't have salary. Yeah, so some months you can get lots of money, some months you can get not so much money, and it fluctuates. We say, yeah, fluctuates. 1 second. Right, some months you have good money, some months you go down. Yeah, so it fluctuates, and it's not consistent. So would you like the risk? Yeah, so of course you're taking a risk. If you don't sell, you don't get money. But do you have confidence that you could sell a lot? Do you have this natural ability to sell?
I don't know if I have this ability. Maybe you have. It's difficult for me to speak about it. I never passed through a situation like this.
But you've been motivated by the commission payment. Would you work harder if you knew that your salary at the end of the month depends on how hard you work? So would this motivate you to work harder? Or
Yes,
do you think? Yeah.
it will motivate me.
So you are
Because I will-
motivated by the money,
Yeah, it
like
will
everyone, right?
motivated. Uh, when a people is young in a new industry or factory, I think that these people will get fired to scared to got fired or get fired.
To get fired, they're scared. They're scared of
get
losing their
fired.
jobs. They're scared of getting right here.
So I will have to work hard to establish my job.
Yeah, to prove yourself. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I wrote. But you'd have to. Don't worry about the why bit. But when you first start a job, you have to prove yourself. You have to show that you are capable of doing the job they're paying you to do. So at the first stage, you have to prove yourself and maybe work harder and stuff. But you're saying that would you, if for example you worked particularly hard in 1 month, you got high commission, and you didn't need any more money for that month, would you continue working, or would you say, right, I've got my commission this month, it's comfortable, got a good couple of $1,000, and this is good for me? Would you then want to work more to get more money than you need?
I would search other employee my time. If I had, for example, I work for 80 hours per day,
Yep.
and I will have 4 hours more to work in another job.
Yep.
I think that in United States the people make this, do this.
So to work in different jobs.
Yeah, work in different jobs.
Yeah, this is so in the UK as well. Nowadays it's so because some do it. If you're freelance, it makes sense, yeah, because if you take less hours from a company, you can charge them more maybe per hour. Yeah, so rather than working, if they're giving you, for example, a full-time salary, they're going to give you, it's comfortable with security. But if you're a worker, you can take the risk and say, well, I'll work maybe 10 hours a week in your company because you only need me for 10 hours, but you pay me this much per hour. Then you can find other companies to do that. That's can happen. But also people are doing this because they don't want to risk working for one company just in case they lose their job. So if there's another crisis, they don't want, for example, to lose all their salary, all their money. So they say, maybe I'll work part-time in this company, part-time in that company. If that company fails, I still have salary from this company. So they're doing it to spread their eggs around. Yeah. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. You have to prepare. You say this in Portuguese?
I remember that day that you speak. I think that it was about this class too, business English, that you have to invest money.
Yeah, that's what they say as well. Yeah.
Stock exchange.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't invest in one thing. And that's how we say it. So, also with your own job, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You should always prepare for the company failing. Yeah, that's what the attitude is. If the company fails, it shouldn't damage you too much if you put your eggs in different baskets. Yeah, if you rely on one thing and it fails, problem. Yeah, so that's what they say, and maybe it's the same attitude in America. But that's cool. But would you like to do this? I mean, also some people do it just because they don't want to do the same job because it's boring. They don't want to do the same thing over and over again, so they do maybe two different things. So in the day they are an accountant, in the evening they teach salsa, yeah, something like that, yeah. Would you like to do it because you'd like a varied schedule, meaning not doing the same things, or would you like to do it to secure your job, to get the money?
Secure, I would. I do this in my university. I have to control my money. I and in my case, I do my food because when I buy food in another place, the price is more expensive. So I have to do my food, do laundry, these things more domestic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and you would like to do different things, yeah. So not just sticking with the same thing. For me too, yeah. So I have itchy feet, right? So I don't like to do the same thing all day, yeah. So I have itchy feet. I like to do different things. Also, I don't like to be in the same place. Yeah, I like to move around a bit, but that's cool. Okay, so are you now not just about money now, but what about relationships? Are you motivated by a good relationship, for example, with your colleagues, with your co-workers? Is this important when you're deciding on a place to work, your kind of rapport with your colleagues?
I think that is important according to the time that you work in that place. But the begin, I think that is not too important.
Yeah.
But it's always better you make friendship because it's necessary. Né? I
Yeah.
think that is more easy to you establish in a work when you make friendship, good friendship.
Sure. So it's better. It's not crucial. It's not critical, but it helps. So to have good relationship with your colleagues is not going to be the deciding factor. However, if you have a better relationship, this will be healthier. Yeah. So you'll be able to work more efficiently. Things like this. So it's not a deciding factor. You can say. Something that would, if you get offered a really good job, they say, right, Henrique, we're going to pay you $10,000 a month, and you're surprised, like, what? Why? But you have to work with plonkers. Yeah, you have to work with idiots. You're probably not going to say, well, to be honest, keep your £10,000 per month because I don't want to work with the idiots. Yeah, you probably wouldn't say that. You'd probably take the money, right? So you'd say, although it's not a deciding factor, meaning there are other factors to consider, it's quite important to have good relationships, to have a good rapport with your colleagues. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
So to have fun and things like this, not just about your work, also about your social life. Yeah, people make a lot of friends through their work. Maybe I think this is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what about then your manager? Do you like the idea of going to the pub with a boss in the evening? So you work with this guy all day, and later in the evening he invites you to the pub, and you have to socialize with your boss. Do you like this idea?
If I would like to have a relationship with my boss or not, I don't understand the
Yeah, so
it's like this.
Yeah, so when you work, do you just want to have a working relationship with your boss, or is it possible to be friends with your boss in any way?
Yeah, it's possible, but you have to separate the difference between the social life and the work life.
Okay.
I think that's difficult for any people. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But the boss have to understand, to have to manage this.
Sure. So there should be some kind of distinction. You should have two private lives. So you should have the private life in which you can choose what you want to do, the work life, and they should interlink somehow, but not too much. Yeah. So
I see it in my university.
go
When
for it.
you study, you have a friend teacher. In the exam, you take a better score.
Yeah.
You think that the professor is not your friend, but he is your friend.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're licking his ass, if you can say that, to advantage yourself. So it's not that you really want him to be your friend, but you're licking his. Maybe that's not a good expression to use. Don't learn that. But you're maybe making compliments. So this maybe subconsciously influences his opinion about you, and therefore maybe he gives you better marks, right?
right.
So you're bribing with your mind. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, so you're saying you would like to have a good relationship with your boss, not because you want to be friends with him, not because you want to get to know him, but because basically this is the guy who's feeding you, and you want to make sure that he continues to feed you. Yeah, he continues to give you your job. Okay, so you
Yeah.
still think it should be quite distinct. What's the culture like in Brazil with socializing with your colleagues? So in the UK, it's common at lunchtime for you all to go with your colleagues if you live in London, to go to the pub. Okay, you see a lot of people in suits at lunchtime in London in the pubs, with their colleagues talking, and also in the evening. So I'd say with the pub culture in London, that's so. But I don't know. It depends about other parts of the UK. Things maybe are a little different. Although people still like to go to the pubs. What is it like in Brazil? Do you socialize with your colleagues a lot? Not your colleagues now, but Brazilians. Do they like to go to bars with their colleagues?
Yes. If I would like to have more colleagues in a factory, uh, if the colleagues like the boss, yeah.
Yeah.
In Brazil, I think that the culture is the colleague uh, have a relationship between them, but
Yeah.
the boss is separated them,
Okay.
and
So
the colleagues speak bad or talk bad
talk bad about
or,
or
say bad about the job. How
yeah.
the better
So
expression?
they you can say they moan, they complain, they well, okay, in spoken English, certainly in Britain, well, okay, I don't want to teach you anything inappropriate. I just want to teach you how we actually speak, right? So I would say, I'll just tell you what I would say. I'm not saying what other people say. They like to bitch about. So
Oh yeah,
to
true.
bitch, but be careful how you use it. But it's said, so I have no problem telling you this because I would say it. So they like to bitch about their colleagues.
Yeah,
Okay, so they like to complain, moan about, to bitch about, to say bad things about. Yeah, so people like this, and I'll say definitely it's the same in my country as well. Okay, what about then good working conditions? Have you heard about the Google office? With the Google offices, have you heard about
no,
how what they're like?
I don't know about Google Office.
There's lots of good examples. I've
I think that I saw it. You work free, like you work the way that you want.
yeah. So this kind of the part of the package is that they get to work, you know, within reason, of course, but how they want. But it's just really about the design of these offices. It's quite incredible. It's very unique. Well, now actually, to be honest, maybe it's becoming more popular not to have offices like this, but to make the offices more fun. Yeah, to not be just like here's a table, here's a computer, there's a chair. Yeah, but
I saw an interesting thing in Brazil. You work the way that you want. You can work in your house. You have to attach, attach,
yeah,
attach your objectives. Yeah,
yeah. So to work remotely, we say.
you have to attack. I don't. I forgot the word. I forgot the word. You have to got your objectives. You
To
can work in your house. You don't need to go to industry.
Yeah, all you need to do is to meet your objectives. So they give you some assignments, they give you some tasks, and you have to just meet your objectives. That's all you need to do, and you can work wherever you decide. So if be it at home, be it at the office, be it in the swimming pool or whatever, you can completely decide. You have freedom to decide where you want to work. But to be honest, I like this. Yeah, I think this is so cool. But I think I definitely would get distracted. So if I was in this environment, I would probably spend too much time jumping on this slide and going down it rather than maybe I don't know coding something. Yeah, I don't know what you're like, but this would distract me. I like also working because I work at home. I like working at home and not having to go to a particular location. But again, I get distracted. So I don't know if it's good to work remotely, if it's the best way, the most efficient way, and also maybe to work in an office like this. But what's your opinion? What do you think about it? To work remotely or to be working in an office which gives you all these kind of
In my opinion, I think that is important. Work in a place like that because you will work without more responsibility.
yeah
Sure that you have to to have responsibility with the objectives of
yeah
the factory. If you got the objectives, I think that there are not problem work in a place like this.
yeah
And you have fun too. Funny.
yeah. It's not a bad environment, right? I don't think it's too
Yeah.
bad. Okay, so if you could design your ideal office or your ideal right, okay, from what we've discussed so far, um, what is the best way of motivating someone? Because of course, all of this comes at a cost. Yeah, to make an office like this, to refurbish an office like this to this level will cost a lot of money, right? So it's going to be very expensive. So not many companies probably could do this. But how would you arrange your company in the future if you owned your own company to completely motivate your workers? So what kind of salary would you offer? What kind of payment structure would you offer? Would you offer the ability to make commission? How would you ensure that your co-workers have a good relationship with each other? And also, how would you design the office? So tell me about your potential future company. How would you like to arrange everything to motivate the workers to the maximum?
Yes, I will motivate the workers with salary, percentage
Okay.
and salary, and I will design a escritório.
What, sorry?
I will design escritório.
Excellent.
Escritório. Do you so the place where you work, the room where you
Oh,
work,
office.
office? Yeah. I
Or,
I have a
or if it's
mix
not,
with Portuguese.
no worries, no worries. But if you're not talking about just this, so an office really is just a room with computers where you do this kind of admin work. But if you're talking about a general place of work, you'd say workplace. So it could be a factory, that's a workplace. An office is a workplace. But you would design the workplace, or you design the office, so it's what?
But the main idea mine will be the commissions. Commissions is more important. Is more important.
Yeah.
If I will put some objectives and the work that attain
Yeah.
that objective, I will get more commissions, more
Sure.
percentage in the salary.
Okay, so you're saying we can be motivated just by salary. If the money's right, we'll do it. And to be honest, it's the same with me. If there was two companies offering, for example, this slide, okay, for example, say Google, it's not going to happen, but if Google offered, let's say, how much would they get? Right, they're going to get a lot in Google, right? So say, for example, $5,000 a month, okay? Or
Okay.
yeah, say $5,000 a month. Google offer $5,000 a month. They give you a slide, but then Microsoft says, right, okay, we're not going to give you the slide. We're going to give you $6,000. I would take the $6,000. I wouldn't take the 5,000 because for me, although it's nice, it's a pleasant working environment. It's not worth paying $1,000 a month, right? You can go to the gym, yeah, for less than $1,000. So for you, in fact, I'm going to ask you this question: if two companies, one company Google offered you $5,000 but gave you a good office, and another company offered you $6,000, but the office was so dull, the colleagues were so dull, everything was grey, you didn't like it. Which would you take?
Okay, the more salary or good conditions
Yeah,
with less salary.
yeah,
I will choose the depend of the moment of my life. If I graduate in this year and I have to work the next year,
yeah.
I will choose the second option. I will choose a year more
Okay,
salary,
yeah.
better salary. But if I 10 years after I graduated, I will choose second option because
Unless, yeah,
I have to save money some time to establish my life.
yeah. So it depends on what stage you are at your life and stuff. But you're saying
Yeah.
that yeah, it depends how much we're prepared to pay for this office. It could be though that Google just pay really the highest salaries and also give the good conditions. That also could be possible because they want to attract the very very best. But yeah, I certainly think it's cool. I want to visit there.
What do you choose?
I would
What would be
choose.
your choose?
Well, it depends because if the job was exactly the same, I would rather get the higher salary and not have this and then go home maybe earlier and not play with the slide, and then maybe use the extra $1,000 to do what I personally want to do, then I would do that. Yeah. But if, for example, I mean, the $6,000 job is harder or more boring, and I just don't like it at all, then I'd take the lower money. But I think in any case, $5,000 is a lot of money, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, if it's enough, but it depends on your personal goals. But if, for example, there was a $200 difference, meaning the boring office paid $200 more or $100 more, maybe I think this would be worth it, right? So it'd be cheaper than a membership somewhere. So I don't know, it depends. But I really, really like this office, but I can see myself getting distracted. But I guess they wouldn't employ someone like me anyway. And the guys that they would employ probably are quite focused on their work. Maybe would say. What do you say about this, Henrique? Would you? Why do they even bother with this kind of office?
I can you repeat that?
Yeah, why do they even bother with their office, making the office like this?
Bother? I don't know. Bother.
Why do they care about
Ah, okay.
making
Great.
the office this good? I mean, isn't it a bit OTT?
Okay. Like if I get a borrowed job and what I will do to do this job better.
Not necessarily, but do you know what OTT means first of all? So what it means OTT.
No, I don't know. OTT.
Okay, so OTT just means over the top. Okay, so I think an office for
Okay,
me,
over the top.
an office needs a table tennis table, right? I will be happy as long as there's a table tennis table. I don't need the decorations. Tennis table, I think for me would be quite cool. Yeah, so even if it's a traditional office, quite a boring office, but has a table tennis table, that is quite a good perk. That's quite a good benefit. But this is a bit over the top. There's too much. Okay, but I'm just asking why a company like Google would even bother decorating their office, designing their office in this way. So it's a bit over the top.
Okay, I think that's to take off the
Yeah.
stress of the
Okay.
workers. Stress or is extras?
Stress. Yeah.
Stress.
Yeah. So to
Stress. That day you told me, you told me
yeah
the
to
phone is
to
stress.
de-stress. Yeah, but I don't know if you can say to de-stress the workers. You can say to enable the workers to de-stress. Yeah, I would say this to
With I or with E? This
de-stress.
this stress.
to give the workers an opportunity to de-stress, to chill out, to relax a bit. Because I guess working for Google would be quite stressful. Like
Yes.
with all technical companies, because
And
things
the
do go
other
wrong.
work, I think that the other workers of from other companies will get motivation to work in Google because the ambient, the environment on
Mm.
Google is better. The You can get relationships with other workers. You
And
have
the
a room, a funny room.
and I think it's so cool. Even the toilets, right? So I saw a toilet. It's quite funny. If I show my screen again, I don't know if you can see. But there's a toilet in one of their offices which has a city view. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world to go for a piss and to see the skyline. I thought that was quite good. Second, oh, this is not interesting, but I'm sure I've seen somewhere. Wait, um, find something. Um, maybe it's not.
Oh,
I don't know if it's this.
UK.
No, this is idea. I don't know. Oh, this is probably the London office, or whatever. But there's a. I'm sure I've seen a picture of a Google office, where they have a toilet, so that do you know the urinals? You can face the window, and you can see above the whole city. And I thought that's really really cool. I thought that was quite good. But anyway, okay. So that's that. Let's go on from this. Okay, so we've talked about quite a lot of things already that motivate. But what about the possibility of promotion? So for you, when you're deciding on a career path, you already talked about in the public sector, although it's secure, the job is quite safe. There are not so many prospects for development, as in getting a higher salary in the future. Okay, are you motivated by the prospects of promotion?
Yes, I will get much motivated with promotion. It's important in your life because you have to put objectives in your life and obtain a better place in the job is important. You take
Okay,
a position like leader too is important.
okay. So to try to get to a higher position, to try to get to a higher level, yeah. So to constantly want to
Yes.
improve. Okay, that's good. And this is a common interview question in I guess English speaking countries, maybe in your country as well, but they often say things like, "Where do you want to be in 5 years' time?" Um, what do you say? So, do you want to just focus on your career, meaning every year you get to another level, or are you happy to stay kind of in one kind of level? Do you want
I
to go like
like
that, or do you want to go like that?
to up star to star. Yes, it's is it correct?
To
Say
what?
it.
Sorry,
To up star to star.
to climb up.
Oh
We have
yeah,
an expression. We
to
say
climb, to climb star to star.
climb the corporate ladder. I'll write this down. And Andrew, I'll just speak to you in a minute, okay? I'll just finish. I've acknowledged you here. Sorry, Andrew, good to speak with you again. I'll come to you in a minute. To climb the corporate ladder means you start off at the bottom and then you want to climb the ladder of the corporation, okay? So you want to get better, get better, get better. Okay,
Okay.
and we say a lot of ladder things as well. Just one more thing. We say a lot to climb the property ladder, and this means you start off with a small apartment, then you get a bigger apartment, then you get a house, then you get a big family house. Throughout your life, as you get more money, your house gets bigger. Maybe you buy a more expensive house. So this is to climb the property ladder. You start off very, very small. You buy the house if you can get the finance. It's not possible now these days. You sell the house, you get some money. Then you use this money to get a bigger house. You pay the credit back on this house, sell the house, and you get a bigger house. Yes, so we say to climb the property ladder. So we have a lot of ladders and things like this. Okay, Andrew,
Okay.
how are you?
Hello, Martin. I'm fine, not bad. What about
Okay,
you?
not too bad. We've been talking about motivation today. What motivates you to work? What do you need from your job, your company? What's the biggest thing that motivates you?
Not the biggest thing. There are a few motivating things that how can I say that leads me forward, or
Which
that just which push me forward?
yeah, which push me, yeah, which give me the drive, or which drive me. You can say which drive.
Okay, which drives me. Yeah, first of all, this is the salary. This is the first one, and I think, as you already mentioned, in the climbing to property ladder, right?
So this first with the company, you climb the corporate ladder. You want a small position, an entry level
Mm-hmm.
position. Then you prove yourself, you get better. And with this, then if you want to, you can climb the property ladder. If that's a motivator for you, you want a higher salary so you can get a bigger apartment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you're motivated by promotion, by improving yourself, getting promotion, stuff like this. I am driven by. Okay, I'm motivated by. I'm driven by.
I'm driven by. Okay.
What about relationships? We talked about this earlier, Andrew. Do you care about your relationships with your co-workers?
Yeah, I think because can I say like psychological climate in uh, Martin, can I say like this, like good um, psychological climate in
This,
between among co-workers?
yeah. So good. What can you say? To have a good atmosphere, I'd say. So
Yeah, yeah, too good to have a good atmosphere among co-workers.
yeah. So there should be a good atmosphere at work. So between co-workers, but you should have good relations or a good rapport. Yeah, yeah. Just rapport. Yeah. A good rapport is how well you interact with each other. So if you joke with each other, how well you communicate with each other. If you like to be in their company, so for you, it's more important to have a good rapport.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, and salary or conditions. So would you care about? I was talking earlier about the Google office, and I'm sure you've probably heard about this. Would you be more motivated by salary or by the design and the perks? Do you know what perks are? In fact,
I don't know
I
what
didn't say
this
this word
means.
with you. Perks are the additional benefits. So sometimes companies say, right, this is your salary, but you're also going to get a
Mm-hmm.
gym pass, free healthcare, um, maybe a company car, yeah, something like this. These are the additional things to your salary. So do you care about the perks, or would you just like to have a good salary?
I'm just quite satisfied with having a good salary. And it also depends on how much is your salary is. If it is quite high to, and you can pay all your bills.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother with the perks
Yeah. And also you can choose, yeah. If you
to
really
cover
want the
your
gym
costs.
membership, if you have a high salary, you can choose to buy the gym membership, yeah. So to cover your costs. So if you have enough money just to cover your costs, um, to pay the bills, all this kind of thing, then that's okay. And yeah, I think the
Mm-hmm.
perks. Yeah, I think it would be best to just give you the money they're spending on the perks, and then you can decide if you want them. Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Don't know. Okay, what about then to be challenged? Okay, so Henrique, would you prefer? Last question I'm going to ask both of you. Do you care about how challenging your job is? Do you want to be challenged with your job, or do you want to do something that you find completely easy and there's no stress? So
No, I would
really
like to be challenged.
to be challenged. Andrew, what do you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, I think challenge, you mean like competition
Yeah,
between
like
co-workers.
to be asked to do things that you think are difficult. So all the time you are your boss says do this, and it's not something maybe you're comfortable doing. You have to push yourself all the time.
Uh-huh. And the question is,
Are you motivated by a challenging position? So do you want to do things that are too difficult for you, or do you want to do something that you know how to do and you can do it well?
yeah, I prefer not to do some challenging things
Yeah.
because I don't know.
It's stressful, right? So if it's too
Yeah,
challenging, it's stressful. why
It's
have the
stressful.
additional stress? Unless there's a
Yes, and
motivator like money, right? So if they say, right, if you
yes,
do this, then you get more money, then that would
yeah,
motivate. But if you're getting the same salary, then
and I think if you are not good at something, you shouldn't do it because
yeah,
you could do it in wrong way.
yeah. So best to get the people who don't find it so challenging.
Hmm.
Unless again there's some other motivator. Guys, run up time. I've got to go very very quickly, but good to speak with you as always. Enrique, I hope that was useful for you. Also, maybe links to the IELTS as well, just for speaking practice. So take care and speak to you soon. Okay. Cheers. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
thank you, Martin. Bye bye.